Welcome to r/RedditRevenge. This is a story of someone getting back at someone with revenge after being wronged. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story: scum of man refuses to pay the PIs for the work we did of spying on his wife, so I give the evidence to his wife. The second story: Karen paid a lot of money for her complaint. The third story: my boss got the same answer as me. The first story: scum of a man hires my unit to do a job, after refuses to pay us, so I help ruin him. A few things. First, I am a security officer with a private investigator certification, which allows me to take PI, private investigator cases, as long as it doesn't interfere with local police investigations, and any crimes that I witness must be reported to the police ASAP, so they can make an arrest. PI cases come from a few sources. We are sometimes contracted by local police to do what's referred to as spotter work, where we're brought on active wide area investigations to do recon work and look but not interact with anything that might be involved with the case. Basically, we're just an extra pair of eyes. Or the local police will mix us in a surveillance operation, and we would follow low-profile individuals and report their day-to-day activities. These are completely confidential. Then there is client contracts. This is where corporate clients contract our company's personal investigations unit to investigate their employer's day-to-day activities while on the job to see if there's some hint that an employee is committing a crime, and to report it there is reasonable proof that an employee is breaking the law on company time. The job is to gather evidence to prove guilt or innocence. These aren't confidential, but we usually sign a non-disclosure agreement. Finally, there's personal contracts. When a person wants to hire a personal investigator to do a job, it's usually something along the lines of a husband or a wife suspects the spouse is cheating on them and wants some kind of proof. Or someone is looking for a relative or lost family and is trying to reconnect with them. There's no disclosure agreement, and it's up to the client to draw up a disclosure agreement. Most don't, but we keep quiet as a professional courtesy. Okay, now that the job description is done, let me tell you what happened. About 3 years ago, I had been hired to do a personal contract. The client, a rich sleazy snob, was apparently stupidly rich. He hired my unit. When I say my unit, I mean the unit I work with, a 5-man team. He believed his wife was cheating on him with other people, and he wanted proof of this so he could start his divorce process with solid evidence. He contracted us in a 6-month contract and was able to pay the company XXX dollars upon completion. So we set up surveillance cameras all over his large house and in the woman's cars with client's permission. We had at least one of the team tailing her at all times. Good times. Day in and day out we watched their lives, and in this line of work you either get detached or emotionally invested, like watching a soap opera. As we watched them, we quickly saw this lady was a freaking saint. She volunteered at a soup kitchen in a children's hospital. She helped with local churches' canned food drives, those kinds of things. She was the perfect definition of what a good human being should be. On the other hand, the husband was a total B. He was the one we caught many times bringing women to his house. Sometimes he would bring 2 or 3 girls in one day, and that only was what was recorded in the house. We arrived at the 4-month mark, which is basically where we show all the evidence and give the 3/4 report. We show him everything that we found and have a 6-hour debrief with video and audio support, showing that she hadn't done any wrongdoing other than a speeding ticket and a few double park situations. After we concluded the debrief, he looked stupefied. He says, "So you didn't catch her cheating? Then what was the point of me hiring you?" My boss, our captain, turns to him with a serious stare, which is perhaps in the most serious and bad A-looking face I've ever seen in that man, and said, "You hired us to investigate your wife. You're unhappy that your wife is an honest and faithful woman?" The snob is visibly annoyed. He stands up and is getting his jacket when my captain says, "Look, there's still 2 months on the contract. We'll keep tailing her, and we'll meet again after our contract is up, and give you any updates." The snob turns to him and says, "Don't bother, this is over, I'm ending it. Come when she's not home and get your equipment out." So a week later, we did exactly that. Now, fruit for thought. When contracts like his are made, a small portion is paid up front as commission fee, and the rest is paid at the end of the contract's allotted time. In his case, it's 6 months. Now, pay works like this. The commission is divided up between each PI as a bonus to our salary, and the salary is what we get from the company to get us through to the completion of the contract. The remaining balance after being paid by the client is then divided into a cut for completion for the PIs and a cut for the office. Good money when done right. So fast forward to the next payday after the contract is officially over. My unit gets a call from our office to come in on the next payday as there's an emergency meeting regarding us in the last contact. We get there and find out Snob pulled the funding and refused to pay us for the work. So we're getting paid, just not with the completion bonus. We all left super peeved. We went to lunch and brainstormed how to get even with the effer. Then we remembered all the house footage of his dirty deeds. At first we wanted to blackmail him, but that's low and we're better than that. I remembered the wife, so I reached out to her. I set a date to sit down and explain everything to her. I showed her the videos. She cried for a good half hour. I think I broke her whole world. It was gut-wrenching. I then advised her to get a lawyer and proceeded to give her all the collected evidence in my business card. Aftermath. Fast forward about 6 months. I'm called into court as my company is suing him for fraud, breach of contract, and unpaid dues. My company wins the case easily, as his lawyer's argument was that we failed to deliver the result he wanted. But we weren't hired to deliver a product. We were hired to observe and report. We got paid in the end. I was contacted by the wife, who thanked me for all the evidence. She got a divorce. Because of all the evidence I gave her, she got almost everything. His huge house, both cars, and a huge cash sum. I got in touch with his wife, and we agreed and met with her yesterday. She was delighted to hear from me. We met up at a local coffee shop, and I got to meet her new husband. And she's had 2 kids, both girls and are cuties and so well behaved, with him and is pregnant with a third, confirmed it's a boy. She's been remarried for almost 2 years now. After a few coffees and idle chat, she told me about her own petty revenge story. Now keep in mind this is what she told me, so take it with a grain of salt. She told me of how the family of Super Snob demanded that they get the house back, as it's their family ancestral home, and offered to buy the house from her almost immediately after her divorce hearing. She had a realtor come and evaluate the house. The family wanted to give her $250,000, but the realtor concluded that the house value is near $1.5 million. The family kept demanding she sell over the following months. She told the family about the realtor and his appraisal documents of the house being $5 million. So she would be putting on the market up for sale for that price, but would sell to them first, because they were like family for a discount of $3.5 million. They bought the house with cash next day in hand. In the pleasant evening with them. As I'm leaving, wife smiles at me and grabs the sleeve of my arm. She says, "Wait, I never got to say this and I want to tell you. Thank you. You're a blessing that rescued me." She then reached in her purse to get her wallet. I think she's going to hand me money or something, and a rise in my hand to stop her. She smiles and pulls out my old business card and says, "I tried to call you and your company a year ago to thank you, but the number on the card was disconnected. I wanted to know if you could update your contact information for me." I ask her why. She continues smiling, "Because you're the kind of person I like. You were looking out for me when I needed it, and I want to keep you in my back pocket just in case." I updated my contact information for her and was invited with my family to their home for dinner on Friday. The icing on the cake of yesterday is this morning, amazingly, I just got a call from my boss. Very excited. Told me we, specifically you, have a new client who's offered you a 5-year employment contract. Apparently, wife's new husband is a magistrator and has got his boss to approve a contract for the company, with the provision that I oversee as the new captain, which means the unit I will be running will be taking our jobs assignments directly from the court. So thanks to everyone who has asked me to check up on her. I went to meet for coffee and a chat and gain a high-profile and paying client. Moral of the story: don't try to screw over people who specialize in gathering evidence and reconnaissance. The next story is: Karen wants $1,000 cash for a $10 coupon, sent to wrong address, pays more in legal fees. The story is from a few years ago when I worked in the legal department of a 1,000-plus store national retailer. As part of my job, I handled customer complaints that elevated when the customer threatened legal action. Our customer service call center forwarded Karen's call to me after she threatened legal action. Karen left a message claiming that she was not provided $10 in customer reward coupons. Spend $200, receive a $10 coupon in the mail sort of thing. This was before apps, based on her purchase of clothing for her son and daughter for back to school. I looked into it and called Karen back. It turned out we had an old address associated with her rewards account. No big deal, right? I spoke with Karen and offered to send her the original $10 coupon and an additional $25 for her trouble to the correct address. That did not satisfy Karen. She claimed we should have known her address and threatened to sue us if we didn't pay her $1,000 in cash. Her rationale was that it would have cost us at least $1,000 to defend the suit. She was in a state in which our company did not have any offices, so we should just pay it to her. I declined, but still forwarded her the $10 coupon she was entitled to, pursuant to our rewards program. Sure enough, she sued us for breach of contract, fraud, and any other conceivable charge. I went to my boss, the COO, and told him the story. He asked what I wanted to do. I said I'd rather pay legal fees to a defense attorney than pay Karen, and he agreed. I contacted outside counsel, our awesome attorney, explained the situation to him, and I SHU not, he said, in a southern drawl, "I get to sue Karen? I should be paying you guys." There are a lot of lawyers in this legal community who'd love to sue her, as she's reckless, unpleasant, and a total pain in the A to deal with. I'll gladly take your case. He agreed to defend us at a reduced rate. Part of our defense strategy was to countersue her under the state's frivolous lawsuit statute, which would move the suit from small claims court to the larger civil court. Awesome attorney filed our answer and counterclaim. Although Karen was an attorney, she was not a defense attorney, so she had to engage her own attorney to defend against the counterclaim. After a couple of hearings, she offered to settle for no more money exchanged. She didn't even get the extra $25 coupon I offered her, and the dismissal of both suits. I talked with Awesome Attorney about continuing our claim, but he advised it would probably be worth settling and being done with it rather than being vindictive. Although vindictive would have been fun, courts tend to not like that, so I agreed. My company ended up paying Awesome Attorney $900 in attorney's fees. Awesome Attorney later called and told us that the attorney Karen engaged charged her $1,700 to defend the suit. Although I would have liked to continue with our suit, I think her having to pay $1,700 over a $10 coupon sent to the wrong address is sufficient justice. And the last story is, screwed out of my holiday pay because we don't have set schedules. 3 months later, I used the exact same phrase to my boss when asked why I didn't come in, when I wasn't on the schedule. Background: when I was hired for the job which I currently work, I was hired to work on Tuesday through Saturday from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. This had been my schedule for months, never changing, as I was verbally told that this was my set schedule. I even clarified this because I had to arrange childcare. For example, one week I was accidentally left off the schedule entirely and was told to just work my normal schedule. Around Thanksgiving time, we closed down for a week. The company policy is that you have to work your last scheduled shift before the break and your first scheduled shift after in order to get your holiday pay. On the Monday following Thanksgiving, remember, I'm normally off on Mondays, I got a call saying I was scheduled to work and that because I didn't come in, I wouldn't get my holiday pay. This kind of peeved me off because I had been told I would work Tuesday through Saturday and thus had only arranged childcare those days, so I couldn't come in that day if I wanted to. The exact phrase I was told over the phone was, "It's your responsibility to check the schedule every week because we don't have set schedules." Fast forward to this week. While checking the schedule, I noticed that my schedule is the same as normal, with the exception that I'm off the schedule on Saturday. So I decided to not look a gift horse in the mouth and just take the 3-day weekend and don't mention to my boss that she left me off. So Saturday, which I normally would work, I don't go in since I'm not scheduled. I got a call from work and didn't answer. No voicemail left. Then I receive a text from my boss saying that my schedule never changes and it will be a no-call, no-show on my attendance record for not coming into work. I reply that I'm not on the schedule, and so I'm not required to come in, as it's my responsibility to check the schedule every week because we don't have set schedules.